President Obama is meeting with the heads of 33 countries on this, the first full day at the Summit of the Americas. New this morning, Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez has given Barack Obama a gift. There you see it happening. It is a book, and the English title of which is Open Veins of Latin America, 5 Centuries of the Pillage of a Continent. I'm joined now live from Port of Spain, Trinidad, by NBC News political director and chief White House correspondent Chuck Todd. And with a final good morning this morning to you, Chuck. Moments ago, Chavez said that he has no doubt that relations with the U.S. will improve under Obama. How significant do you feel that statement is? And what about this book that he gave as a gift?
Well, let me tackle it a couple of ways. First, on the Chavez front, I think if you talk to the Obama administration, they would say, and in fact, the senior official was just briefing us a few minutes ago on the entire meeting on the stuff that we didn't get to see on camera. And when it comes to relations with Venezuela, this official described it as saying the ball is in their court. They're the ones that pulled their ambassador. And so while Chavez may talk about better relations, he can proactively make a gesture to decide whether he wants to have better relations, including whether to have an ambassador back into the United States. As for the book itself, Alex, as we've talked about earlier, it really is symbolic, actually, of how many Latin American political leaders, many Latin Americans feel about the United States and Europe in general. It is deep-seated. In fact, at this meeting that President Obama was at this morning, where Chavez handed him that book, he was meeting with the entire continent of South America, all the leaders in South America, 12 nations down there. And according to Obama folks, they tell us that he received sort of a history lesson of sorts of grievances against the United States, of how the role the United States, they believe, played in previously, and whether it was getting involved in domestic politics down in South America or different regime issues. So this is real down here, and that is why you're not seeing rose petals being thrown at the feet of President Obama, if that's how you would want to characterize how he was received, for instance, in Europe.
Yeah. What's happening at the conference right now in terms of who the president will be meeting with today? Do you know what's on his docket?
Well, he's got a bunch of what they call plenary sessions, and anybody that has gone to any conference on anything, when you see that phrase plenary session, your eyes might start to roll and you're wondering, boy, when am I going to get a nap, or when am I going to get this in? And so it's one of those days. He did the South American leaders. He'll be meeting with different groups, small subset groups of these Latin American leaders, including the Central American leaders as well. Last night, he had a brief meeting with the various leaders of the Caribbean nations. So that's what a lot of these subsets are about. He's hearing the same thing over and over again, though, it appears. A lot of chatter about Cuba, pushing of the United States to do more on that, and then, a history lesson of things that they've not liked what America's done in the past. But there seems to be at least some open arms here for President Obama, but they're waiting to see what he will do, not just what he will say.
So what do you think is going to constitute success from this Summit of the Americas?
Well, it's interesting. Right now, I would say the fact is the takeaway from this summit for many in America may be, there were 2 things discussed, Cuba and Hugo Chavez. I think the administration will try to say, hey, we're getting more accomplished on that by having a more open dialogue. It may mean, for instance, we'll get a trade pact passed faster with Colombia. We may get other trade relationships improved. Maybe there'll be more open dialogue when it comes to energy conservation and some sort of deal with Brazil. But that we won't be able to judge that until down the road. For now, it does seem as if the 2 headlines out of this summit are going to be how all of Latin America is pushing America harder on Cuba, and how Hugo Chavez wants to find a platform and insert himself in front of a camera.
Well, whatever the headlines are, we always thank you for them, Chuck Todd. Thank you.